Joining us now is Doug Flynn, certified financial planner and co-founder of Flynn Zito Capital Management. Doug, I want to start with President Trump's reaction to the Fed's decision, which Wall Street was expecting. It seems like the president was the only one who didn't expect that. Based on how the economy is reacting to Trump's policy, was holding rates steady the right call?
I think we can make the argument that rates are too high. They're a little bit too high from the point that it's kind of in sort of a tightening mode. It's kind of keeping a lid on the growth of the economy. And I think that's really the impetus for Trump to want rates lower, because he wants more of an expansionary economy. And so, you can hit a point with interest rates where you're sort of restricting the growth. You can have sort of a neutral stance, or you can have more of an expansionary stance. And of course, Trump wants expansionary, but we're a little tight. We could get to a more neutral position, and that's probably about a half a point to a 3/4 of a point lower amount than we have right now. And so that shows up in what we're paying in higher interest rates. It shows up that it's very, very difficult for young people to buy a house. So that's kind of slowing things down. And so you can make arguments on both sides. Inflation picked up a little bit, but GDP is good. So you got good news and bad news, which is what Powell keeps saying. We're going to just wait and see. But there's a lot of arguments, I think, and more that rates probably should already be a 1/4 point lower. And so we're looking to September, to the next point when they can do it.
Yeah, potentially the first rate cut we see in about a year in September. But to your point there, expansionary, for those who don't understand it, it's just monetary policy that stimulates the economy, right? And we see the Fed chair is in this restrictive stance, meaning he is not concerned about shrinking the economy a little bit to get inflation down. Is there any merit to Powell staying in a restrictive stance, to being concerned about inflation? And I almost think, is there any PTSD that Powell has from, years ago, talking about inflation being transitory and being proven wrong there?
I think you're right. I think they've made a couple of mistakes. One was saying that it was transitory when inflation was as high as 9%, and it stuck around for a long time. It wasn't transitory. They also cut interest rates right around the election time, and inflation was much higher than it is now. And you can make the argument they were cutting rates then, and that's Trump's argument for why aren't you doing it now? And so the problem with you cut rates too soon is that inflation picks up, and then you might have to raise them again. They don't want to do that. They really want to wait, but they have a habit of waiting too long, and I think that's where his nickname comes from. The Fed does do that. They wait too long on both ends. It's not an uncommon thing, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there, hopefully sooner as opposed to later, because it is holding a good part of the economy back.
Doug, I only have like 20 seconds with you, but I want to ask you this. For the first time, we saw a double dissent from the Fed board members. That's the first time in about 30 years. How significant is that to you and to Wall Street?
That's very significant, because it's saying that there are people who want the rates lower. A 1/4 point would be reasonable. There's a lot of arguments to do that. And it's showing that it's giving him cover that he now can lower in September. And it's not just Trump pushing it and making him do it. So that gives him the cover to actually do it in September. Whether or not they'll do it, we don't know. Actually, the market's saying there's a lesser chance than there was yesterday. So hopefully that will come back up and we can get those rates going before the end of the year.
Doug, as always, you're the best. Doug Flynn, thank you so much.